Hey everyone, it's Remington here, Hub City Home Inspection, and this is the last video for our standard template here in Texas. We're going to talk about appliances. So whenever I get to a home, one of the first things I do is I walk in and turn everything on, as far as lights, bathroom vent fans, ceiling fans, and I don't turn personal appliances on, lamps and TVs and stuff like that, but just all the light switches basically. I usually run the heater or the air conditioner. If it's summertime or warm enough, I like to run the air conditioner. And then just to test the system. But then also I'll go in and I'll put a cup of water in the microwave. I'll run the dishwasher. I'll turn the oven on. I'll turn the stove on. And then once I have everything going, I'll turn the exhaust vent on over the stove. Once all that's going, then the last thing I do is I turn the garbage disposal on. And the idea is when that, and dishwasher, I don't know if I said that, turn dishwasher on. The idea is when we kick that garbage disposal on, that pulls some amperage. It pulls enough that usually if our system can't handle the load, one of those garbage disposal, microwave, one of those units usually are going to trip a breaker for us or give us a flicker. Flickering lights it's pretty common. My house is built in the 90s, and when my air conditioner comes on, I get a little flicker. Never had any issues with it. It's a super common thing, especially in older houses. In a newer house, it would be a little odd, and I would probably make note about it, or I would make note about it. But if we trip a breaker, new house or old house, I'm making a note about it because it says, hey, the system can't handle everything we're giving it. We want to treat it as if it's a holiday and you've got all the family over, all the friends over, and everything is being used. You should be able to operate your home without tripping a breaker under normal usage. If things are working like they're supposed to, we're not going to trip a breaker. Assuming we didn't get water in something and things like that, you know. So, but I run dishwasher. I try to run a full cycle on it. Some of the dishwashers take 3 to 4 hours to operate. On those ones, I'll be honest, I don't stay that whole time. If it's ran well, it's drained fine, and hopefully I can see that the heating element has gotten hot, I'll cancel it, let it drain, and make sure we're not leaking under the sink. Looking for, is the unit secure? Sometimes they're loose under the cabinet. Do the trays that roll out have any rust on them? And is the soap dispenser tray shutting and latching, and then does it kick open as it's required to dispense soap? The other thing you'll see is a very common note is high loop, like a backflow. So our dishwashers usually drain or terminate into our garbage disposal, and from there they should go up higher, what they call a high loop, and then come down and then go to our dishwasher, or from the dishwasher up high loop and then to the garbage disposal. And in Texas, here in West Texas, they do a high loop. Some places do an air gap, which mounts at your sink. But if we don't see a high loop there, then mark that as deficient, very common. That goes back to having a sewer backup. The high loop will help prevent sewage water from getting up and over just based off gravity and back into our dishwasher, contaminating it with bad water. A lot of our dishwashers come with a high loop built into them now, but the manufacturer usually still wants to see us put one in our drain line. And so I don't know, I don't check every manufacturer. If I don't see a high loop under the sink, I make a deficiency note. Garbage disposal, simply run it, and hey, did it run fine? Is it excessively noisy? Does it seem like it's running good? Sometimes they'll vibrate, and they'll vibrate so much they'll shake the countertop and the cabinets a little bit. Of course, I make a note about that. Sometimes they'll just hum. So you know they're getting power, but it's stuck or it's corroded, it's jammed, something. And there is a Allen screw on the bottom, a key, and sometimes I'll try to turn that. I don't get too aggressive with it because it's not mine, but sometimes you can turn it and it just needs broken loose because it hasn't been ran in a while. This happens a lot in vacant homes. And so if that's the case, if I can break it free and turn it on and it runs fine, then it's not a note. I don't make a deficiency about it. It's just needed some movement and some use. But there are times where I've spun them and they still won't operate, and I have a note, hey, the unit's making a humming noise, it's getting power, but it won't spin. It either needs some work on it or it needs replaced. So Another common note you'll see, this is under electrical, but it's about garbage disposals, and it's the same thing we've talked about multiple times. The bottom of the garbage disposal is metal, almost always, and the wire that powers it, we need a grommet or a clamp there, and so you'll see that note quite a bit too. The range exhaust hood, so we have our stove top or our whole range unit. We need to have an exhaust vent that will filter or pull up those greases as we cook. And those are, some of them are front vent like a microwave, and they'll just blow out of the front there. You have your filters. I'm just, hey, are the filters excessively dirty? On a gas stove top, that could be a concern. They could get hot enough that grease in theory could catch on fire. So we just want to keep those clean or change them out as necessary. If it does vent up and through the roof or the ceiling, then it needs, then it needs to go all the way out of the roof. And so older homes will see it venting into the attic, and it's considered incorrect, so we don't want to vent cooking greases into our attic. So that's besides just making things dirty, it's a fire issue. If you did ever have a fire, well, now you have grease up there that's just really gonna burn, and it's going to be harder to put out. So if we're gonna have an exhaust system go through the ceiling, it needs to go all the way out of the roof line. Another note you'll see sometimes in flip houses or older homes is, hey, we have a range or a stovetop, but we don't have an exhaust system. Modern standards say you've got to have an exhaust system that filters out, that draws air up and filters out grease, cooking oils, things like that. Our range, our cooktop, our ovens, whatever that be, single oven, double oven, or then a separate cooktop, or just a range unit all in one. We're checking our ovens. We set it at 350 degrees. Standards tell us it has to be within 25 degrees of that 350. So anywhere from 325 to 375 is considered adequate. Obviously, if you're big on cooking, you can't work on those parameters. It's got to be tighter than that, but it's considered passable. We're not fail pass, but that's considered adequate for a home inspector. Most, just FYI yourself and your clients, all ovens can be calibrated, and you just simply Google like Whirlpool range, calibrate Whirlpool range, and it'll tell you. You can find it. You got to do some searching sometimes, but you can adjust that usually in 10-degree increments, 5 or 10. You can, if it's 20 degrees hot, you can lower it 20 degrees. If it's 22 degrees hot, you can lower it 20 degrees, and then just be 2 degrees off. So just because it's off doesn't mean it's a big deal. You might need a technician to go check it out, but you maybe can also just calibrate it a little bit too. So once we check that temperature, that are we within parameters for our 350 degrees, then I turn on broil, and I simply see that the top element gets red hot. I take a photo of it, put it in the report. It says broil shows to work. Stovetop, we're just checking, hey, are all the burners working? Are the elements heating up? If it's electric one, getting red hot. If it's a gas one, are we getting, is each burner lighting, and does our flame look normal? By normal, that's usually a blue flame if we're burning natural gas. And are any of the flames excessively tall or anything out of the ordinary? And we're making note about that. Hey, something's not right. This flame is a lot bigger than all the others, even though it shows to be a similar style. Then we're checking where we turn those on. Whenever you turn a stove on, you may think about it, you may not even think about it. You're supposed to have to press in and then turn. And that's a child safety mechanism. We shouldn't be able to just walk up and turn a stove on. If you can, it's not working properly, and you need to have it checked out, because it's easy. Then somebody can walk by and bump it on. If it's a gas one, that can release a natural gas into the air, or it could just turn one on and get hot and someone not realize it and then get burned. So, or have things sitting on the oven for decoration. We see that a lot, and burn that, catch that on fire, whatever that be. So we need to be able to push the knob, then turn it in. Make sure all the buttons work properly. Make sure everything's legible. None of the guidance that's stamped or printed on is worn off. We want to be able to read everything and know how our oven and stovetop is supposed to operate. Another common note you'll see, whenever you walk up to an oven, if you grab the back of it and pull it towards you, it should stop. should have an anti-tip device. And that's a child safety thing also. And lots of them don't. A lot of times, sometimes they're just sitting on the counter. I'll see it in flip houses a lot where they've put new appliances in. It's just sitting there. But it is designed so it just catches the foot. It just sits here, and so the foot can't go up. The idea is some little boys are curious, and they're like, hey, what are you cooking? They open the oven door and stand on it to see what mom's cooking or dad's cooking, and the thing tips over on them, and the pot of boiling water burns them, hits them in the head, whatever, right? So that's the idea of an anti-tip device. It's very common. That's just one of those notes you'll see a whole lot of. Anti-tip device missing, anti-tip device missing. So I think that about sums up ovens and ranges. The microwave, like I said, I'll stick a cup of water in there, and I just put it on a minute. What it's supposed to do is make hot water. Water is considered hot at 110 degrees. Most of our microwaves will get hotter than that, but we want to make sure it's at least producing hot water. If it looks like a nice microwave or a more modern one, and it gets us to 115 degrees, I may make a note about it, because it's very common we're seeing between 130 and 150 degree temperatures in my cup of water. Obviously, it depends on how hot it comes out of the faucet or how cold. I don't put heated water in there. I try to use cold water. And if it's, every once in a while I'll see 160, 170 degrees, but that's pretty rare. So if I see one that just seems like, hey, it did its whole thing, it spun, it did all the stuff, but it's 115 degrees, that's just not very hot. You might have some that's not working right in there. And I'll make a note about that as a deficiency. If it has a light, if our microwave is being used as a vent hood, we've discussed that, but does the light work? Do the filters need cleaned? Is there any damage to the handle, to the buttons, to the front vent? Sometimes that cover will be damaged. Those are deficiencies that not as common, but that you'll see on a report some. And then this is out of the kitchen, but like our bathroom exhaust vents, are they working? Hey, we have one in here. Does it work? Okay, it's producing or it's drawing air. Is it also something that produces heat? If it is it producing heat? These are important to have. You need either an operable window or an exhaust vent. People think of bathroom vents for odors. You hear them called different things, and it's like, hey, this is to get rid of odors in my bathroom, but that's not really why they are there. They're there to get rid of moisture. We have our showers, we turn it on hot, we're producing a lot of steam, we have a lot of moisture in this bathroom. We either need a window to be able to open, or we need an exhaust vent to vent that out of our room. Because often our bathrooms are pretty small, right? A master bathroom may be large, but we don't want that water or that moisture, that humidity to be able to sit in there. I've seen multiple bathrooms, like a Jack and Jill, where we have his vanity area and her vanity area. Then in the middle there's a bathroom or a tub and a shower unit, and they have closed off doors, of course, so each person can use it privately. And I've seen where that bathroom, the tub area, the shower area vent doesn't work, and there will be signs of microbial growth on the ceiling. There's just been too much moisture having the opportunity to hang around longer than it should. So we want those to work right. I don't make a big deal about it. It's just, hey, it works or it doesn't work. Hey, it's making a lot of noise, maybe towards the end of its life. It's a basic thing. It's nothing that we scare people with, but that's just so you know, that's why we have them. We need to get rid of moisture in our home, where we don't want to let moisture accumulate. Moisture just causes all kind of damage. So that's it. I do check sprinkler systems. That would be at the very bottom of the report as an additional thing. It's very superficial inspection on those. I go to station 1, I turn it on, I go out and look, make sure nothing's shooting up in the sky or just running out onto the sidewalk. And then I go to the next one, check drip lines, make sure those don't look cracked or they're not just shooting water out erratically. I don't check valves, things like that. I look for a rain sensor, and I look for a backflow preventer in the alley or in the backyard, wherever the system's coming in at or the water's coming in, and make sure all the stations show to be popping up like they should be, and does the control panel seem to be working. So that's an extra thing. It's not a requirement. It's something I'll do, but I do tell people I keep it pretty simple and just make sure it's working. So Appreciate you guys listening to this video series. If y'all have any questions, again, give me a call. My name's Remington with Hub City Home Inspection. Thank you.